right, so I went and got my coffee so that way we don't get interrupted. Good morning, and I hope you all are doing fine. I am in this plant room early today before life starts to get in the way. So I just brought in, I'm gonna move here, my curtain right here. Now this is a plant that I know nothing about. I know it's an indoor house plant. I've had one when I was a kid, and I actually was able to keep that plant for about 6 months. It wasn't shaped like this. It had the flat leaves like the traditional one, but you've seen the colors on the plant leaves before. So yeah, I saw this plant when I went to the store at big box store, Home Depot, and I wanted to put something outside. I wanted to give my house a fall look. One thing happened last year is that I got so busy and so wrapped up into growing like my channels, focusing on getting videos out, that I just missed multiple seasons of the year. I missed going into spring, I missed going into summer, and then I missed going into fall. And before I knew it, it was Christmas time. So this year I was determined to make sure I make my house look like fall. So I went and purchased this plant. Now, I had no intentions of buying this plant. It was just to go and get a pothos, and I was just going to get some mums to be able to set outside on the porch. Well, when I went to go get the mums that was outside, I saw the crouton sitting there. And I said, you know what? It was three of them just like this. I had never seen any plants that looked like this. And what got me was that it looked like a bush, or more so a tree, and it was pretty large, which I knew would be an attention grabber on my steps. So that's what I went and bought. Now, the issue is that it can be outside in bright direct light, but if it's indoors, it needs to be somewhere, of course, near the window. But I'm worried about the humidity, and since it got so much sun, where am I going to put it so it can receive the amount of light that it's going to need? Now, I am worried that this plant may die with it being inside, because again, this is the first time of me caring for a plant like this in a very long time of being an adult, of just having plants in general. But this is also a plant that's very difficult to care for. I've heard about it in the plant community. They're like calatheas. They're just, I don't like plants that require me to have to do a whole lot of work. It kind of takes the fun out of them, because I like a lot of plants. So if I just have to just focus all my time on just one plant, it kind of takes the fun out of it. Anyway, so that's what we got going on with here. I don't even know if this plant is even going to stay inside the plant room. It may have to go somewhere else just for light needs. But the thing is, I do not know where, because I have been filling up all the houses in all the room. Lots of fresh air. Yes, it definitely is. It's a whole nother vibe in here. I tell it to people when people come over to the house to visit, they'll come into the house, but the first thing they want to do when they walk in the room is come into the plant room. And when they come into it, it's just a total different smell, air quality, and it's a whole different just vibe. The vibration in here, it's just, it's not chaotic. We just appreciate it, and we just go from there. Hey Oscar, how you doing? So what I'm doing right now, guys, is I just got into the room this morning. I was getting ready to make me an Instagram video, record a reel, because that's how you have to grow your page over there. You know, I just love talking and posting about my plants, but with different platforms, you have to do it a different way. Like the days and time of you just hit and record and people just watch and listen to you, they're great. And that's what I love about here, is that I can just hit record, be myself, and talk. But everything, or I'm not gonna say everything, but a lot of like Instagram and those TikToks and such, they want finished products. And if you're really into your plants, and if you really do care for your plants, then you know it's never a finished product. You're forever. I come in to film, I might bump open a plant or something. Before you know it, that's the new content that I'm talking about. Some people aren't interested in seeing soil. How old is your oldest plant? Huh. That is a good question. My oldest, I got into plants in 2018, during around about the COVID era. So my oldest plant that I have in here would be about 6 years old. This one right here that you see, right here, This one is one of the plants that I had starting off with. This is a philodendron green goddess. So she would definitely be one of my oldest, and also the plant across from here, which is my Scindapsus exotica. I've had her for about 6 years as well. Let's see if I can turn this around for you. All right. So right here, my philodendron green goddess. Now, if you look at her, she has a lot of growth points. She has one right here. She has one right here. So of course she has her own vine right here. And there's also another one right over here. So I could really cut this plant. I probably have about 4 or 5 different plants off of this one. Not to mention the babies that she have. Now, I have another plant, another piece of this plant that I actually took off that I have growing in my living room as well. So this is a pretty good plant. If you're not into like complicated plants, you just put it, give it some light, give it some water, boom, it'll pretty much do its own thing. Since I'm here, I need to go ahead and open the window. And this right here is a Scindapsus. Now, she actually needs some water. As you can see with the leaf that are curling, that's a good indicator that water is needed. They do not like to be watered until their soil dries all the way out. If you keep giving this plant water, you'll start to see a lot of yellowing come with the leaves. Now, that's the height of the plant. And I'm believing I'm gonna do something like a cut or something up there because I'm not really interested in the plant continuing to climb. I think until I start actively watering this moss every single day, this is pretty much the largest that the leaf is gonna get, which I'm okay with. Male and female plants a thing I hear from weed growing. How can you tell with other plants like yours? Honest truth, I don't know the difference between the male and the female. I don't. They're just plants to me. I call them him and her. I call them him and her based off of how they look. I know that's probably not right, but if it's a big old heavy plant, I usually just give it a male. If it's a really nice pink color plant or just I don't know, just very nice, then I give it a female name or plant. Hey, Jamie. Sorry, Miss Evans. I wish I knew the answer. Maybe that's something I can do. You know, one thing that I have to get back into the habit of doing is I used to sit down and do a lot more research on my plants. I used to like just be curious what the next stage is going to be like. Now I am getting to the point that the plants are growing out of their like, I guess I don't know how to say little plants, so childhood. I don't know into their mature plants now. They're no longer like little cuttings. So they're starting to look different. So now, since they're starting to look different, what things can I do aesthetically to make them look even better? And what is the next stage of that? Like I never really paid that much attention. When I first started buying plants, if the plant just looked good, boom, I bought it. I never thought about, well, if they mature again, like you get a monstera, and now they call them philodendron monsteras. It's so weird to see that. I'm like, okay. But if you didn't know anything about a monstera and you bought one, you would just see just a small leaf. But then as it matures, you start to see it split. So that plant looked totally different from the beginning. Now, let me give you an example on a plant that I have. I'm gonna flip the camera if that's okay for y'all. Let me give you an example of a plant that I have that's the same species or breed, but one does one thing and the other does other. Okay, you see over here? These both are called amidridians. These, I used to think that this plant was immature and that it was gonna have to just grow and then it was gonna split. The lady at the store, she assured me that this plant would never fenestrate. But I didn't believe her because I had bought one like this and I was like, oh, this will fenestrate. Both of them, same plant, one fenestrate. Fenestrate just means the cutting in the leaves. I'll show you. Right here versus right here, we're not gonna have any type of fenestration. So, you know, that's why I just say be careful what you buy because sometimes plants do things that you may not know. You have a lighting. Oh, that's it? Yes. Yeah, I have a lot of lights in here because when I'm always shooting content, let me show you. So let's just talk about the grow light. Well, so I use this light. This is pretty good. That helps a lot with like the lighting and balancing in the room. You're able to shift the color. Sorry, hopefully I'm not blinding you. You're able to shift the colors back here, and we can get different lighting colors and so forth. Now, this is really good when I'm shooting, like depending on my plants, the color, because things change. See that right there? It could change the whole mood. But when we get into like grow lights, I have this grow light right here. This is probably one of my oldest. This was like a 6 head, and I didn't know plants like this could, not plants like this, but grow lights came in different heads. So the 6 heads, when I say that, it just means how many grow lights are on here. Next, this is one of my most recent ones that I bought. This was a 10 head. I had no idea 10 heads could come like this. I actually didn't even order um, a 10 piece. They just sent them to me when they came. So lighting is good. Right over here, this is my forehead. This is probably one of my favorite ones right here. Um, it gives off really, really bright light. The settings never do anything funky. Usually if the lights just blink on and blink off, they do pretty good. I don't know the exact brand because again, a lot of the places when I buy lights from on Amazon, they go out of business. So, or they change their name. And yes, I play a lot of music with my plants and I sing to them a whole lot. And if they could talk, the things that they will probably say to me to express how annoying I am. Yes, they are very happy. I should hope so. I try to give them the very best of everything. I really do. Soil and things, like when I'm explaining it to you all, like the cheaper brands get a bad rep, like your Miracle Grow and so forth. But this is the thing. You can go and buy those cheaper brands, mix them together and get a really good blend. You really can. Now, if you go high quality, of course you're going to get something a little bit better because usually you don't have to do as much work to it. It's a finished product. And your plants are just like just like us. They need some vitamins and a good foundation to grow from too, you know? I want to play some music, guys, but the last time I played some music, it got copyright and taken down, so I really don't want to shoot myself in the foot there, you know? Right now, really, is when I need to be in my plant room the most. It usually grounds me, but this is what I use this space for as a recharging moment. Like being in here talking to you all right now is just taking my mind off of the things that I have to do. And there are things that I want to do, to be clear, but they still are. They're not cool as sitting in here talking about my plants and caring for them because they're quiet. It's so calm, peaceful. Won't let you down. How you doing? Thank you. So it looks great. I'm working on my plants. Okay, what you into? What kind of plants? You know, I got into outdoor plants this year, guys. I don't know if I told you. I had a whole garden too. I had some tomatoes. So, two things. So, outdoor gardening. I grew some mums. I grew um, some hydrangeas. I grew one more. I can't think the name of it, but it was a tree with purple leaves. It'll come to me hopefully. And then in addition to that, I decided to grow a garden outside. And my garden went pretty good. The bugs ate them all up because I didn't know there's stuff you're supposed to spray and do all that. I was just blown away that I actually grew bell peppers, onions, I still have mint out there. What else? What else? What else? Gosh, why my mind going blank right now? Banana peppers, jalapenos. Yes. Yes. Oh, and lettuce. Yep. Yeah. What climbers do you have? All right, let's see here. Climbers. So I don't know if I have plants that are technically climbers. I just take plants that grow on vines and put them on moss and just let them grow up that way. So long as you know that that's what I'm thinking of when you say climbers, then I have a few of those. Now one of them I want to point out to you though, I don't even keep in here. This one right here. This is my Monstera statulona. It had got thrips, so I set it out here. I've been doing a full treatment on it. I believe the plant is 100% cure now, but I just don't have no space to put them now. But yeah, this right here would be considered, I guess, a climber because once the area nodes grow into the moss right here, the leaves tend to size up. As you can see down here, the leaves are bigger than up here because I got to the point where I just stopped putting water here once the plant got sick. I kind of tossed it to the side. It's not right, but I did care for it, and it looks like we're about to have a real, real pretty leaf to come from there. I missed a couple. Looks great with plant. Critters always get my. I know. I just that a so it's the stuff called by 7 killers. I know that name sounds bad, but it's the stuff by 7 killers that you could spray on like outdoor plants and your vegetables that's supposed to get rid of some bugs. But it always seemed like the bugs that I have a problem with, the stuff never can get rid of that. I don't know. I know, daggone bugs. I mean, what we gonna do about them? They just out there just. It, I'm looking at my tomatoes thinking I have a, really nice one. And I turn and I see an ant just crawling out of it, just helping itself. I mean, what do you do? I've used bamboo poles wrapped in copper and aluminum wires and it made difference. That just seems like a lot of work. Bamboo poles wrapped in copper and aluminum. I mean, it could work. That's some work right there. See, you're crafty. That's what that is. I'm looking at it, I'm like, aluminum, copper. Whew. What does all that look like in a cart when you put all that in? Just to be funny, you should put 2 bags of dirt in there with a shovel just to see. Oh, that's funny. Something next to my plant. Squirrels and deers are problems. The deers. Now, right across the street from me, luckily enough, not right at my house, but right across the street from me, it's a whole family that stays back there, deers, that's been here for at least 2 years, and they don't move. Cars go by, they don't care. It's, yeah. What's the plant climb on the wall behind? Gotcha. Okay, so that's a Rhaphidophia tetraranium. I'm terrible with names, but I promise you, if you just type in Rhaphidophia TEM, it'll finish the rest of it. But yes, that's what that plant is crawling up there. Now, it's actually time. I don't know if you see all the way up there. It's time for me to take that plant actually and lower it down so I can let it start crawling. The goal is to have that plant to continue. I'm pointing there like you can see that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have that plant right there continue to climb, grow that way. Then I'm gonna have that plant continue to grow and climb that way. I have windows over here, right here, that will allow the plant to grow all over the wall, and I'm pretty sure it'll be okay. But if it's not enough light, you know me, I have no problem getting a grow light, and I will shine that joker that way. I'm telling you, my room is gonna look like a freak of nature when you come in here. Stuff, wires just everywhere. Jesus loves you, bro. Appreciate that. I'm gonna dare look both ways if across the street. I'm telling you, it's crazy. No, I have not started selling any plants. The reason why, um, I thought it was more complicated than what it is. You know, to sell plants, you have to have license and so forth. And since I'm not trying because you're not supposed to have trying in your word. I am actively growing businesses or attempting to. So I want to make sure that I do everything the right way. You know, so all I have to do was just get the license. The license is like $20 for 3 years. So it's not hard. I'm the one dragging. I'm really focused on getting like some plant apparel next. So that's the next thing because our business that my wife and I we have an embroidery business, and I really want to get some of my plant stuff, like some of the plant gear, plant names, the plant shirts that we've seen that's been pretty funny. I want to get those into some really nice quality stitching instead of just the iron on. So that's the next step that I was working on before I start selling my plants. But all of them, everything is going to come in full circle. Like my website is going to have plants that you're going to be able to buy with the shirt apparel or beanies and so forth that you're also going to be able to buy, and you can get them in, you know, get them in bundles, so forth. That's way later on down the road, but those are just some things that I'm thinking about. Also with my soil, like I'll be able to bag up soil types that you can buy directly from me. That, you know, I already told you everything that's in the mix, so the only thing that I'm going to be selling you is the convenience. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I don't have any special thing that I'm going to put in there to make mine better than if you did it yourself. However, I'm just going to alleviate the problem of you having to do it. I mean, if I had the money to go to the store and buy one already mixed, I would do it. So, chunky soil mix. You know it. Don't get me going. You know how I feel about that chunky soil mix. You gotta have orchid bark, indoor pot mix, a little bit of perlite, size 3, horticulture charcoal. Telling you, mix it all together. That's all you need. I get people saying, don't use that. You can use that. You're using the cheap mixed up. Whatever. It works, and I'm proof that it works. Now, better quality, you may get better results, but not all the time because you spend more, you get better. You know, maybe write some books. You know what, Miss Simmons, you're not gonna believe me, but I actually did write a book. I actually did write a book, but it wasn't on regards to like plants and stuff. It was talking about fitness. About 3 years ago, I went through a big transformation and lost my weight, put some of it back on in the process of getting the rest of it off, just being healthier. Not right now, don't really need to lose weight as I need to tone up and just have a better, healthier approach to eating. Because just because you can lose the weight doesn't mean that you should be gaining it on just because you can lose it. You know, so I figured out that part, but that's only half the battle of not getting myself in a situation of having to lose weight and eat healthier and so forth. Just do it and that just be life, because I have other stuff to do other than to keep repeating the same process of putting a lot of time towards that. But that was the book that I wrote, and I'm a person that I don't believe in selling lies or being fake. I feel like people's money, time, and time is something you can never get back, gets taken advantage of. So if I'm not walking in the truth and I'm not living in it, then I can't put that book out right now. Kendo Pubs and get you started. You know, right now, if I was to tell you, yeah, I'm looking into doing a podcast. It won't be on plants. Again, as I tell y'all before, I'm always looking for opportunities to be financially set in life. Like that's the goal. Like I just want to just talk about plants or go visit plants. Guys, I want to go out the country and actually see some of these plants. Forget ordering a plant from Ecuador. How about I go out there and choose my own plant and figure out how to get it sent back and all of that. You know what I mean? Like, how cool would that be to have a plant in my room or in my house that I actually went to the country and picked it and brought it back? Like, that's what type of level I'm on. Well, I don't have the income to be able to do that right now. So what can I do? Figure out a way to generate income. So My plants, like this right here, this is a part of me. This is my most personal. This is my most vulnerable. This is the most authentic person you are gonna get is me being around my plants because I have no stressors in here, you know. So um, this is where I talk about a few things in regards to my plants. However, my podcast, the other part of me that nobody sees is that I'm a stay-at-home dad, like I'm stay-at-home husband. I'm the homemaker. I do the cooking, do the cleaning, take the kids to practices. I sit in all the parent-teacher conference. Like I'm the dad that sits in the corner or in a circle that can't relate to none of the guys because I'm like, well, how do you feel about the curricula too? Getting moved up here and now the kids they got a test next week, you know, and the guys look like you have to ask my wife. So, you know, that's something that I want to talk about on my podcast is like what that life is like because I've been doing this for about 7 years. So it's like let me go ahead and just talk about it. Just you know, find a way to capitalize. I'm pretty sure somebody wants to hear that story. Maybe somebody who want to hear this story lives out the country and they want to fly me out there just to talk to me face to face. If so, then we can see what their country is known for, what kind of plant they have. Me, get my cutting, get it sent back. Before you know it, I'm able to grow the plant. Now, I'm pretty sure I got to get a license to be able to sell it and all that. But again, we'll cross that page once we get there. But just saying, selling plants get you there. But you're gonna have to grow chocolate. Okay. Mm. So what y'all got planned for today? Cause I have that work. But other than that, it's Saturday, guys. And it's been a long week. Long week. Wish I could play some music. I don't know if I showed you all or we talked about this one yet. This is my Stromanthe. It's definitely in the Calathea family. Um, so that means that I'm going to have to give it a lot of attention. Usually I don't get plants that do that, but this is a plant that I did buy the first, I would say like my second or third round of actively buying. I go through rounds where I buy a lot of plants at one time. I don't like to buy plants one by one. I'll go in the store, I'll take a look at a plant, don't spark my interest, I'll leave, but I'll think about it. Then when I'll go to another store, I'll look at it, spark my interest, think about it. Then when I do decide that I want to buy that plant, usually I'll go back and buy the plants that I saw that caught my mind that I wanted to get. So I'm shampooing and putting it up. Listen, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's like me every morning. I clean the kitchen before we go to bed every night, and every time I wake up, it seems like the kitchen is dirty. I think I got a family coming in here living in the house at night when we go to sleep, and they're just disrespectful and leave all that stuff. And I hate seeing the dishes in the morning because I come downstairs to get ready to go to the gym. My wife is a traveling nurse, so she travels usually about an hour away from the house every morning. And she just came off of this crazy schedule where she did 10 days straight. So that means yes. So I have to wake up around about 4 to 4:30 every morning if I want to go to the gym and make it back before the kids wake up. Kids, I need to be back by 6. So I have to get her breakfast, get her lunch, everything together, get that packed, get her coffee, water filled, all that on the counter before I can even leave to go to the gym. So that's usually how my days start off. So this crazy run right here, I really haven't got no time to do anything. So I am putting off a lot of stuff right now. But I'd rather be with my plants this morning. Everybody's still asleep. It's peaceful, it's quiet, you know. Plants on Kira's truck. I do too. I do too. Now, Home Depot this year let me down though. They did not have a lot of plants to go on clearance. And I saw plants, now they had some at Lowe's, but Home Depot did not. And I'm like, all these plants, like what they did was just move the plants inside and spread them like just a row down the plants, not plants, but down the rows. And I was like, okay, y'all just not gonna give me a discount this year. But it's okay because you know what? I took advantage of Home Depot and Lowe's just philodendron plants. I came up on some really good plants with some really good price. Y'all know I got all of my Monstera Thai constellations from them, and I $30 for plants that were being sold, and some of them are still getting sold in the store now for 50, 60, 70, $80, and like was half the size that I bought mine. I got a good deal for them. So you know what? They didn't have a clearance, but everything was for cheap this year, so I'll take it. Yeah, she does have a stressful job. She does. She does. But the good news is that she's married to me, so I'll make it easy. No. No, seriously, she does. I try to balance everything else out for her so she never has to do anything but wake up, get dressed, go to work, come home, unwind, eat dinner, get to bed, and that's how we do it. That right there is probably one of the greatest gifts that I do have is being able to um, make anything out of nothing. Like it doesn't take a lot to make people happy. Number one, you just gotta listen to them. Um, Number two, you have to be respectful to how they feel and their viewpoint. Like it's not an arguing match. It's not one of those. It's just listening. And that was why I got into plants. I went through a period in my life where people was, I don't know, I hate to say jealous and envious because I truly don't know, but I went through a phase in which a particular person didn't care that I stood 10 toes down on whatever I believed in, and it created a lot of riffraff in the family, and it kind of put me on an outcast, and I felt like the world was just kind of just like, whatever, and no matter what I did, not with my wife and with my side of the family, disclosure, it was to on my wife's side of the family that we had an incident with, and um, you know, people, here I am, I'm new, I'm married in, a lot of people don't know who I am, so you can only trust the person who you do know, and it kind of it made me feel like I was alone and that the work that I was doing because I was a family man, it's not going to be able to happen. Like I want my families, my all my families to get together to do things to hang out because that's stuff that we didn't get. Growing up, um, my mom, dad, they got divorced and it was one of those nasty divorces, where you can't see the kids. So, it was important for me to marry somebody that had those principles that I had on ensuring that we was going to be a family no matter what. We're going to make sure that we bring wealth and just we want to just tear life up together. And we when that happened, it really just felt like a blow. My wife, she spoke up for me, and we felt like we was getting improvement. And every day things got better. Now I'm not sitting here saying I just stuck here in the glue with this. It's just it was a work in progress, and I needed something to take my mind off of feeling like I'm giving a lot but I'm not receiving a lot. So, plants. If you give plants love, you give plants care, you give them their water, you give them their light, you give them their soil, you give them their pots. If you do that in reflection, you get a beautiful plant. And that's how I feel. Like I was planting seeds that I wanted to grow. It was no ill intention. Maybe I didn't agree with how things were being done or how things was being said. Number one is I'm not a direct person, but I am an intentional person. So I would never come to you with the intent of hurting your feelings because like who walks around and does that? So if I say I don't like something or don't agree with something, best believe it's going to be in a way that it is just me just saying, hey, listen, I don't like it because of here, but if that's for you, that's for you. And when you're young, you see things typically your way, and that's about it. However, as I get older, I also understand that the older you are, the more mature you are. So therefore, a lot of situations and things that happen should not have happened being the age that they was. They're able to see reason. They're able to see that it just comes with age. Not that they know everything, not that anybody knows anything. But just put it into your head, you're 23 years old. You go to your 23-year-old and somebody older than you who doesn't know nothing about you and who is judging you based off of what they think they hear or know, um, says that about you, and you confront them saying, hey, if you have a question, problem, you ask me directly, so forth. So um, that right there was no means to exile somebody or anything. That was somebody coming to you, being very direct and talking to you. You know, up until then, I had never experienced anything like that. Like, yes, there was a rough childhood for us, and we, you know, I didn't know my other side of the family like that, but the side of the family that I did know, things was great. You know what I mean? So, well, great as in great that could be, but now being an adult and being married, I understand the two families are very important if it can happen. You right about that, Miss Simmons. Age does not guarantee it, and I definitely found that out. And I'm going through the part right now where I understand that I'm looking at these younger kids and what they're doing. Number one, yes, yes, they are very different than my generation or my crowd at my age level. However, they understand that they're not gonna work like no dog. Now, how some of them are getting in and doing it, I may not really agree with it, but they are really putting in time to figure out, well, how can I actually enjoy and live life. Like, I just saw where UPS store is going to be looking to do a paid out for people who's been there more than 30 years. It's just, the world is shifting and changing, and I understand that if I want to stay in it, then I'm going to have to wake up and get with it, you know. And in regards to that, is that looking at these younger kids, who am I if one of them say, hey man, you doing everything the hard way, you doing so XYZ, you supposed to do it this way. I'm not gonna lash out at them. Or if they say, man, you just doing it a dumb way. That's their language, that's their lingo. They're very more direct to it. But they're also, when you talk to a lot of these, and I'm saying this because I just had to go to my son's school, and I sat with him. He's in middle school, 7th grade. Yes, I sat with him the entire day. Boy been going to school cutting up, laughing, just a class clown. Very, very, very smart. Very. I know everybody say this about their kids, so let me clear this up. He is very smart. My daughter is not as smart as him. Okay, so I'm giving you the scenario. But what I'm saying is, my daughter will still want to circle laps because she will sit down, put the work in just to be as great. Him, he has the ability for it to come to him right then and there. But he doesn't use it for good. Because with that comes the laziness part, and he doesn't have common sense. I mean, he just doesn't. He'll be getting in trouble and get in trouble. You know, he's just he so with that comes, he's cool, he's laid back, he's very chilled, and all of the schools, everywhere he go, loves him, even the adults, because he just thinks outside the box. With that thinking outside the box is, he also thinks the rules are outside the box. So if teachers or instructors don't specifically say what it is they're meaning and just throw something out there, my son never catches it. It bounces right off, and it leads him in trouble, and he's completely in shock. So no, he's not left-handed. But so the teachers, he got in trouble the other day, substitute teacher, for talking. Again, he is not a disrespectful student. He will never like be fighting, anything like that. He's just comical. He just loves the attention. That's him. So I've been dealing with this since kindergarten, and we're in 7th grade now. I don't think it's gonna change, but I'm telling him, like, it's, you're getting to a point now where you're gonna have to be able to turn it on and off. You can still be the class clown, but you can't be the class clown that gets in trouble, that gets kicked out of class, that doesn't get his work done. We're not doing that. But being who you are, I'm completely fine with that. And I will sit down with a teacher for 35 minutes to talk and debate on, okay, what did he do wrong and what do we need to correct? Not how you feel, not how in regards to other students, because as far as educate brain wise, he's been the highest in the charts of that. So don't compare him to anything, because his IQ is a little bit higher. I just think he thinks totally different, and some of the teachers respect it, some of the teachers get tired of it. Completely understand, and I don't argue the point with that. But let's get to the story. They called me because he got kicked out the class substitute teacher on Friday. Turns around on Monday, has a substitute teacher, and he had silent lunch. So they called me saying, we called you on Friday. We're having the same issue that we had. We're not going to talk anymore. We're going to have to do documentations and so forth moving forward. Okay. So after we're done, they said, well, why don't you come to the school and sit with him so you can see what it is that he do every day? Okay, sure. I didn't know how to feel because first thing that popping in my head is, yo, I'm gonna really mess up him if his daddy is walking with him in school to middle school. But on the other hand, something not adding up. I asked him, hey, this is what the teacher said. Is this what happens? He says, no. I'll tell the teachers. Okay, well, I had a conversation with my son. This is what he said happened. They say, no. What do I do? So the invitation of come to the school so I could see is exactly what I did. Very, very eye-opening. Yes, that was truly an experience. First off, I get there and, well, I mean, I don't have to tell you all the story if y'all not interested. I know we're here for plants. I'm just talking away. I don't want to bore you though. Let's see here. It's left in. Yes, teachers can be. My mom is a teacher. Okay, and one of the things my mom used to do to me when I was growing up, and my sister, and I absolutely still to this day don't like it, and that's how I feel. Anytime the teacher would tell my mom that this is what happened, my mom would 100% believe it. And I don't know, it was because I was not doing good in school, but there are a lot of factors as to why I was not doing good in school, but we're not going to travel down that road. But anytime, and a lot of times that when my teacher would call and do that, it was not like it didn't go out. My teachers would tell me flat out, like, "Oh, so you didn't do your work? Oh, so you didn't do good on your test, which means you're not doing your homework." And no, no, sir, no, ma'am. I did do my homework. Well, for you to get 100 on your homework and for you to be testing zeros and 60s on your classwork means that you're cheating. You're not doing. So now I got a phone call every once in a while, which, again, if some people are teachers out here, I'm not talking bad on teachers, okay? I think what you do is incredible. You really are. But some teachers, people need to realize they're still humans. Okay, they got into it with their spouse. They ran over their cat by accident. Like, things happen. And they come to school sometimes, and the kids who can't speak up, who don't defend themselves, they get picked on. I was one of those kids who didn't have that voice. Didn't get picked on. A little chubby and just had stuff I'm still trying to figure out life. Like all the way up to third grade, I had a mom and a dad, military. Everything was good. Went to birthday parties, chilling, beaches. My mom didn't have to work, but she worked at a little coffee shop and not coffee shop, a candy shop. And she just worked there on like Fridays or Saturday evenings. And we would go up there, sit there, and eat ice cream for the 2 or 3 hours that she'll be working there, you know? I had all that going on until I got to third grade, and whoa, it was taken from me. I'm pulled off living with my grandma's house, and I don't know my dad anymore. Like he's not your dad anymore. Like it's so that was what I was dealing with when I went to school. Third grade, I lived in California, and we moved to North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina education was ahead. I don't know if it still is, but far more advanced than California. I was just doing like double addition and subtraction in school. No. They right now, I moved in multiplication and division. And I didn't hit the third quarter. We came in right at Christmas, so it was ending that first half of school, second half. So we're well into the thick of things. So I played catch up, just trying to get it. I don't know how, but I passed, went on to the fourth grade. Fourth grade was a struggle. Writing. I mean, I'm still terrible in English now, but that's just me. But writing, that was a struggle, but I made it through. Fifth grade, had to go to summer school to make it through because I missed it by 2 points, and I was so mad that my mom and my teacher didn't give it to me and just passed me on because I knew it was the way they could do it. But I went to summer school, and I'm not gonna lie to you, some of the best memories that I had. I remember my teacher over at a different school. I remember the pizza in the bags. I don't know if anybody remember that in school at lunch. It tells my age. But I looked forward to that, and they would give that to us almost every day. Sure, I had to go to summer school, but you know what? It's not like at home really was popping off. I mean, I had a younger sister who her and my mom got into it all the time. My mom worked 2 jobs, so she always was tired. So you know what, having that for me to do over the summer probably was one of the best things to keep me busy and occupied. But I actually got there and I learned because they told me that if I don't pass summer school, I'm gonna be back in 3rd grade. I could not look at my friends in the face being in the same grade again. Could not do it. So Mr. Shawn got his butt to school, did what he needed to do, copy his notes and all that. And the teacher even asked me because we was 2 weeks in and they did a little test just to see where it was at. And I passed it. And she said, "What are you doing here?" And I told her, I was like, "I don't know." And then eventually I told her that, I hadn't been doing my work during a year and, I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't understand it. And she just said, "Well, I hate that you had to do this the whole summer, but just keep on learning the stuff that you know, keep on up, and you should do really good. You'll probably make 4s on your EOG." I did make a 4 on my English, but I made a 3 on my math. But it was a good 3. I was happy. I was fine. Felt proud. Went to 6th grade, and that's when life really just started to kind of hit me because now I was no longer with the new elementary kids that I met. Because I'm from a small town, so we all go from the elementary school. It's like 4 or 5 of those. Then you go to one middle school, one high school. So I got combined and thrown in with all of this, and completely just got lost again. Um, Let's see here. They don't teach cursive. Nope, they do not. My son has not, since he started kindergarten, nope, they have taken it completely out. Starting to think they don't teach handprint either. It just seems like everything has shifted to the computers. I never mentioned formal. You know, things, it's not alarming and surprising anymore. It's just not like right now. My son is mad at me because with his new punishment of everything that happened. I don't think I finished what happened in the school, but he's mad at me because I take his phone at 8 o'clock now. But now he doesn't have a phone until his report card come out. But he got mad at me because I took his phone at 8 o'clock at curfew. Like I'm new to all this. Like I didn't have no cell phone growing up. I got a cell phone when cell phones were coming out when I got my license at 16. My mom just gave me her old phone. All right. It was a pencil. Yeah. It happens. But clearly that was a teacher or something that probably went in there and forgot it out. Or kids, we know, go under the cabinet, they see cool things and take them to school. I tried to give my mom's wedding ring to almost every single girlfriend that I could find. Anyone who wanted me, yes, no, maybe. She clicked maybe, she might as well say yes. And before you know, I would be stealing my mom's jewelry to take it in. And my cousin one time got me caught. Still this day, went through my book bag. Nobody told her to go through my book bag. Went through my book bag, dumped it out, saw all the jewelry down there, and then I got in trouble. But, I mean, my mom would have lost her jewelry if I didn't. Yeah, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Hopefully, somebody a kid brought it in and just was playing with it, took the top off, forgot to hide all the evidence. I hope a teacher, whoever was using that, didn't do that. And I know for a fact, no child even knowing what or how to use that. So, that's crazy. That's crazy. It probably was the teacher who had y'all go wash your hands. But let me tell you guys. So when I went to his middle school, and remember what I told you he doesn't have like the common sense part. So he went in there, and we hop out the car. So we pull into the parking lot. Firstly, I always drop him off around the back. Then we pull off. Then I pull off and go. I pulled into the front of the school this time, bagged into the parking spot, got all the way out the car. He did too. We're walking, and he's like, "Well, Dad, what you got those bags for?" I was like, "Cause I'm spending the day with you at school." Oh, and then he starts walking real. He goes from walking like this to very silent. Come on, let's go. I was like, you didn't think I would do it. Sometimes my kids, they take me as a bluffer because I, they're kids. I know they're gonna do things they're not supposed to do. As long as you acknowledge you did wrong, boom, we move on. We're not gonna sit around all day long to do that. I don't have time to spend emotion on something that we've already solved a solution for. So anyway, he walks real slow. We get into school, and the guidance counselor sees him. The guidance counselor doesn't see me or know that I'm his dad because I'm trying to log into the computer to get everything to work. Of course, the paper doesn't work. So everybody now is investigating, and I'm telling them flat, like, well, it might just be out of paper. Nobody thinks that through. No, just type your information again. I did it 3 times before somebody said, well, let's just check to see if it has paper. And what do you know? It didn't have paper. So now my name gets printed off 3 times. So one of them hands me my name, but now it's a conversation. They're trying to figure out where the other names go to. It's the same name that's been printed on there. It goes to the same. Anyway, still very nice. Just they was trying to get me taken care of. Anyway, so the guidance counselor puts my son into the side room, conference room, and he comes out and then he just starts talking to me. Hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, how you doing? And and then like 2 or 3 minutes go by, and I was like, is Avery good to come out? He was like, yeah, are you his father? I said, yes, sir, I am. I had no idea. I would not have put him into the room. He looked a little sad and upset sitting there, and I just wanted him to catch himself together. That's why I put him in there. I said, oh, sir, it's okay. And then, of course, he was just saying, it's nice to meet you. We don't get too many dads that come by and say all this. Think it's admirable, blah, blah. All the suit spill. Like, everybody was really nice. I'm not going to go through all that. So anyway, he comes out, so anyway, I go, the teacher comes from behind the counter, not the teacher in his class, but just saying, I'll take you on up there. Go ahead and get yourself settled in, and he'll be up there shortly. So I'm sitting in the class, his math class, the one that's been giving him a lot of problems because AP class, he does not want to do AP classes. He just wants to do the easy class where he can sit in and be, no, sir. Like, I didn't put him in the AP. They put him in the AP. He was in AP classes since kindergarten, and I told him when he went to his new school, I said, listen, man, I told them about you're in AP classes, and they said that they're going to do the testing, and they're going to make sure before they place you in there. He went through the whole year the whole year, school year, of them not placing him, till they finally did place him. So, there we go. Anyway, I follow him around. I go to his classroom. I sit there, realize he's not in math class. Then I go downstairs and get him. 30 minutes goes by and I haven't seen him. I go downstairs, get him. He's still in the room. I tell him he has so-and-so time to get up there and get in the room. What does my kid does? He gets to the door, still refuses to come in. So I have to go and tell him, hey, you need to come on in. Stubbornness. He does it at home. I didn't realize he did it at school. So I see why the teachers have a problem getting him to do the stuff that he doesn't want to do. He comes into the classroom instead of your father is in the classroom with you. So you come into the class and you shut your mouth and you do what you're supposed to do. He wants to come into the class and all of his friends are looking at him, of course, because he has brought attention that I'm there. At first, I just would have been a stranger in the classroom. Nobody would have put it together. I wouldn't have said a word to him. I would have took my notes. Maybe by the second or third class, somebody would have figured out, hey, this guy keeps following us around. He must be somebody's parent. But nobody knew who I was there for. I came straight in just to sit in to see what was going on. But what does he do? I have to go and get him, which brings attention in to people like, oh, that's Avery's dad. Anyway, instead of him coming in, sitting in his seat, does he do that? No. He says, hey guys, as he's walking in, hey guys, what's up? Mind you, the teacher is teaching. But just to keep his level of cool, this is what he does. Teacher says, hey, go ahead and have a seat. So his way of being funny, well, where is it at? I don't see what we said at yesterday. I was like, Avery, in the class, she was pointing at where to sit at. It was the only seat in the class. And where he was standing at, if you turn like this, the seat was right there. So it was no confusion as to where to sit. She was like, go ahead and have your seat. It's pointing. I'm watching this goes down. Have a wonderful day. I want to do good luck, kids. I'm 27. Lucky. Good luck. All right, get that shampoo done. Nice talking to you. All right, guys. Turns around, does what he does, right? The whole day long, giving resistance until finally we get to the third quarter and he finally figures just to give in. Took forever. Came home, had a long conversation, and boom, that's where we're at now. But anyway, guys, I am going to get ready to hop off of here as well. I've been on here for a while, mumbling and jumbling, realize now for an hour I have stuff I need to do. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Y'all take care.